What you're about to hear is a story that puzzled the country and rattled the Catholic Church. It takes place in 16th century Spain, a land of faith and often superstition. A woman rose to fame as a miracle worker. She was called a saint while still alive. Her name was known in royal courts and poor villages alike. But after decades of worship and wonder, her story took a strange turn. She said she had made a deal with the devil. This is the story of Magdalena de la Cruz. You'll have to judge for yourself what really happened. Magdalena de la Cruz was born in 1487 in a small town in southern Spain called Aguilar de la Frontera near Córdoba. She came from a poor family, but even as a child, she stood out. Neighbors said she had strange spiritual experiences. She cried during prayers. She talked about visions. By the time she was 12, people were calling her special. She joined the Franciscan Convent of Santa Isabela de Los Angeles. That's where her reputation started to grow. The nuns noticed she didn't just pray, she performed. On religious holidays, she showed marks on her hands and feet, marks that looked like the wounds of Christ. Her body shook during prayer. She claimed to float off her bed in ecstasy. Some visitors said they saw her do it. Others just believed the stories. Word spread. Priests came to investigate. Pilgrims showed up at the gates of the convent. She became famous. Spain at the time was highly religious, but also extremely tense. The Inquisition was active. Heresy was a deadly accusation. People were afraid of false teachings and eager for signs of divine protection. Magdalena seemed like that sign. Bishops made long trips to see her. A few wrote down what they saw. Even the royal family got involved. Queen Isabella of Portugal had trouble conceiving a child. When she finally gave birth to Prince Philip, some said it was because of Magdalena's prayers. As a thank you, they sent her the baby's umbilical cord. That might sound strange now, but at the time, it was considered a holy relic. They placed it in a golden container at the convent. Still, for all her fame, there was never a formal investigation from Rome. No one verified the miracles, but no one questioned them either. She had become too popular to doubt. Inside the convent, not everyone was convinced. Some of the other nuns started to talk, quietly at first. One said she noticed Magdalena's wounds only appeared after she'd been alone. Another said she always seemed to know when visitors were arriving. Someone claimed they found a cloth with dried animal blood hidden in her room. Another claimed she saw her eating meat in secret, even though Magdalena claimed to be fasting. None of these claims made it outside the convent walls. Why? Because no one wanted to be the one who questioned a living saint. The local priests supported her. The abbess kept quiet. The bishops had too much to lose. Also, the rumors died down. For nearly 40 years, Magdalena kept her position. The people still believed, and so did many in the church. In 1543, everything changed. Magdalena got sick, very sick. Some say it was an infection. Others say it was something worse. Whatever it was, it left her weak and barely able to speak. Thinking she was going to die, she asked to speak to the Inquisition. What she said shook everyone. From her sickbed, Magdalena made a full confession. She admitted everything. She said that the stigmata were fake. She used dye, sometimes goat's blood. She learned how to shake, roll her eyes, and act out scenes from books she read about saints. Her visions were based on gossip or political rumors. She broke her fasts in secret. And then she said something even darker. She claimed that when she was 12, she made a pact with the devil. She said demons visited her, gave her energy, helped her perform. She said they made her appear holy, that they pushed her into the spotlight. She claimed she had been their tool the entire time. The Inquisition arrested her. They put her on public trial. News of the confession spread. Some were furious. Some were heartbroken. Others didn't believe it at all. The church had to act. But they were careful. Execution might turn her into a martyr. So instead of death, she was sentenced to life in another convent in the town of Andújar. She was stripped of her titles. The relics tied to her were removed. Her name disappeared from prayers and church writings. She lived the rest of her life in silence. She died in 1560. Her grave was left unmarked. Was Magdalena lying in her confession, or in her life before it? Was she a fraud from the start, or a disturbed person who believed her own illusions? And what about the people who believed in her? Were they desperate for hope? Were they misled by the power of reputation and ritual? Her story forces us to ask hard questions. Can we always tell the difference between faith and fraud? Do we believe too quickly when someone claims to speak for God? In the end, the case of Magdalena de la Cruz is more than a historical scandal. It's a reminder that truth is often stranger than fiction, that belief can be powerful and dangerous, and that sometimes the most convincing miracles are the ones we want to see. Let me know what you think. Was Magdalena a true believer, a clever manipulator, or something entirely different? Leave your comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.